Good morning, everyone. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Or good day, depending on where you're from. Welcome back to another live stream. Hope everybody's day is going well. Hope everybody's week is going well. We are going to give it a minute for people to join and take some time to say good morning to the community before we get into any conversations here. How's everybody's day going? How's everybody's week going so far? Good morning, good morning, good morning, or good day, depending on where you're from. We had CPI here this morning. We'll have a short conversation about that. We'll take some time to say good morning to the community, and then we'll get into the conversation. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Hey, good morning, Tyree. Good morning, HMH. Good morning, Alexis. Good morning, Oscar. Good morning, Trader Kyra. Good morning, Kelvin. Good morning, It's Nay. Good morning, Saju. Good morning, Dali. Good morning, S Trades. Good morning, Frank. Good morning, Peter. Good morning, Tad. Tiago, what's up? Raj, what's up? Pam, good morning. Rav, good morning. Weapon, good morning. Jacob, good morning. How's everybody doing today? Stefanos, good morning. Jaden, good morning. Rafi, good morning. Vis, good morning. Fernando, good morning. Hello, hello, hello. Enrique, good morning. Coco, good morning. Tatiana, good morning. Ed, good morning. Salim, good morning. June, good morning. Abdu, good morning. Big Lovin', good morning. Sylvester, good morning. Right, good morning. Umar, good morning. Adam, good morning. Yusuf, good morning. Trelos, good morning. Ali Reza, good morning. Ganesh, good morning. Nick Gardner, good morning. Tiago, good morning. Dude, it's me, good morning. Jonathan, good morning. Kashawn, good morning. Gen X Trader Dad, good morning. Sonic, good morning. Celine, good morning. How's everybody's week going so far? Mario, good morning. Yogi, good morning. Navaz, good morning. Hello, hello, hello. Very excited to get back on here with everyone. Another chance to gain more conviction in our model. Good morning, good morning, good morning. We had CPI this morning. We used CPI as a way to expedite evals. Throw a 1 in the chat if you passed an eval during CPI. Throw a 2 in the chat if you failed an eval during CPI. Throw a 3 in the chat if you did not attempt to expedite an eval. Bunch of 1s, mostly 3s. So, just a quick overview. Take a look at the CPI candle first, and then we'll get into the conversation. Let's pull this up as well. So, if you go to my YouTube, if you go to the playlists, if you go to Ask Chats,
imagine making.
If you go to my conversation with the day trading realtor, right here. All right. So if you go to this video here with the day trading realtor, this explains our one shot, one kill method. OSOC. This is a way that we expedite evals. Watch this video and it will explain it in detail how we're passing evals. For a quick explanation of that, let's take a look at the CPI candle here this morning. Okay, so heading into CPI, this is what we're doing. First things first is if you're not willing to risk the amount of an eval, do not attempt to do this. So the price of an eval, if you're not willing to take that money and burn it, then don't try this. You have to accept the risk before the risk is taken, or else don't take the risk at all. Next thing is you have to understand that this is not our trading model. Okay? Like, for example, I only trade the unicorn model. This is not the unicorn model. If you cannot turn on and off the ability to trade your model, then don't do this, right? So if you're trying to expedite in an account, realize that you're not trading your model, but when you're done expediting the account, go right back to having discipline in trading your model. Okay? Those are two very important things to understand. Next is the consistency rules. You cannot do this on an eval that has consistency rules. Right? So, for example, the My Funded Futures expert account does not have a consistency rule. You can pass the account in one trade, in one day. That's what I'm referring to. Right? If you have a Top Step account that has a 50% consistency rule, you cannot reach the profit target all in one trade. So you have to understand the rules of the prop firm that you're using. Make sure you're using a prop firm that allows you to pass in one trade. Okay, so those are the important rules going into expediting. Okay. Next is understanding your profit target. You have to calculate how many contracts you're going to order and how many points you need with that amount of contracts to pass your profit target. So I'm just going to use a hypothetical here because I'm not going to go through every single different eval. Every different firm has different amount of contracts that you can use and different profit targets. So I'm not going to sit here and do each one of them. I'm just going to show you the method, and then we're going to go right back to New York Open and trading the unicorn model. Those are the rules that you need to understand going into CPI, into NFP. Those are the times that we expedite. Those are the only times that I would suggest. I would not use any other news drivers. A couple seconds before the news release, right? Notice right here we're at 8:28. Let's go to 8:29. Right? So right before the news releases, we're setting buy stop orders above price. We're setting sell stop orders below price. It looks like this. So notice I'm not using a stop loss, right? This because we're risking the entire eval. We're trying to pass the account in one trade. So it's either pass or fail. There's no in between. Notice it's a buy stop. Hear me clearly. Buy stop order above price. Sell stop order below price. Okay, so then, right? So sell stop below price, buy stop above price. And then the news comes in, and there you go. Right? So the sell stop orders got triggered, and it went right to profit target. So a lot of people this morning passed evals using this method. The purpose of using this method is to capture the volatility. Right? There's very few amounts of time in the market where you get 300 points in one move, 200 points in one move. 200 points is more than enough to pass an eval. That's the purpose, is to capture volatility. Okay? So make sure you read the rules before you try this. Make sure you understand which prop firm account you're using, if they allow news trading or not. Right? You can do this on a My Funded Futures 50K expert account. You can do this on an Apex 50K account. Those are two accounts that allow you to pass in one trade. Those are two accounts that allow you to trade the news during an eval. Notice I'm saying eval. You cannot trade the news in a funded account. And that's why I'm saying you go right back to trading your model once this is completed. If you can't flip that switch, then don't even do this. But if you're capable of passing the account and then going right back to being disciplined in your model, then okay. If you're capable of accepting the risk before the risk is taken, then okay. How do you know where to put the positions? Well, we've calculated the average amount of manipulation for the news candles. That data is available in our premium group. So we've gone through all of the CPI candles. We've gone through all of the NFP candles. And we've calculated the amount of manipulation, right? There was almost no manipulation here this morning, right? The manipulation would be the wick, right? So this wick was very small. There was only, right, close to no manipulation here. Only 5 points of manipulation. This was a beautiful candle. This was a beautiful move. But now go and look at NFP, right? We go to NFP of, that was last week. So let's take a look at Friday real quick. Here's Friday and here's NFP. Right, so here's NFP. This is the NFP candle. And look at the manipulation on this one. This one is a bad move because there was a lot of manipulation. 46 points here. So we've gone through all of the prior data and collected all of the manipulations to get an average amount of manipulation. That's how we understand where to place the order. Right? Because if the average amount of manipulation is 40 points or 50 points, we set the position more than 50 points away so we don't get caught in the manipulation. That's how we understand. So that calculation is in the premium group. The data can be found there. Okay, so congratulations to all the individuals that passed evals this morning. The Day Trading Realtor on YouTube. I highly suggest giving him a follow, subbing to his channel so you could be there for the live streams. We do this live on his YouTube channel to present that model. Okay, so once that is completed, then we go right back to the model. So now it's New York AM session, and we go right back to trading the unicorn model. Okay, so I'm going to take a sip of water, and then we're going to go through our game plan, just like every other live stream. We build a game plan, then we execute the game plan. While I'm taking a sip of water, if you don't mind, hit the like button on the video, sub to the channel. That way you can participate here with us in chat. If you're wondering why you can't chat with us, it's because it's sub only. And do me the favor of liking the video. Give me 2 seconds. I'm going to take a sip of water and then we're going to get into the conversation. All right, thank you very much. As we're getting ready for our live stream, or excuse me, as we're getting ready for our session and building our game plan, feel free to throw any questions or comments in chat, and we can go over that information. Hey, Ash, did you participate in OSOC? No, I don't have a need for new accounts right now. I have my funded accounts, so I don't need additional accounts at the moment. Right, so I have no need to make that risk. When the time comes that I need to get into a funded account again, then I'll think about doing it. I have done it before. I just don't currently need to. You're allowed to trade CPI on MFF, it appears. Yeah, so my funded futures expert account, in that account you can trade the news only during eval. Only during eval. In a funded account, you cannot. Why place the orders there? We went over that as well. The average manipulation. we've calculated the average manipulation. What do you think about Apex? Apex, you have to be worried about the unrealized trailing drawdown. So it is very hard to get a payout at Apex, along with the amount of denials that they have. If you break a rule, they will deny your payout. But even with me saying that, I have received payouts from Apex. So it's very simple. Follow the rules and get paid. Break the rules and get denied. That's what it boils down to. Is it true that news wicks are immediate targets? Examples today is 830 high and low. Yeah, news wicks are liquidity. You will find those acting as targets. We should buy 2 evals and set 1 long or 1 short. No, I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that. I just went over my expediting process. We also have videos on my YouTube that I pointed to in the Ash Chats playlist. Go watch the interview with Day Trading Realtor. That explains our method to expediting evals. Are you trading after CPI or NFP release? No, if you go to the general chat in Discord, check the pinned messages. That'll show you the days that I do not participate. What broker do you recommend for a personal account? Either AMP or Charles Schwab. So AMP has TradingView integration. This is where my day trading cash account is. Charles Schwab does not have integration on TradingView, but I don't use that as a day trading account. My Charles Schwab account is a long-term account. Completely different than day trading. Those are the 2 locations that I would use as a cash account. AMP definitely has lower fees and maintenance. So that's one of the reasons why I chose them as a day trading account, along with the integration. It's nice to be able to execute on TradingView. Do I like Top Step? I have nothing. There's nothing wrong with Top Step. My first choice is my funded futures. All right, so let's get into the game plan. Let's take a look at today's price action. New York has already opened. Take a look at some information here. As always, most important element of our model, time. News driver already occurred, so we don't have to be worried about a red folder. 9:30 already occurred. So the 2 important times of the day, the red folder and the opening time, New York Open, has already occurred. So you can begin to hunt. After time, bias or draw on liquidity is the next important element. That's when we get on the daily chart and look at where price is currently located. This is something that we need to be aware of. Price just filled a daily bearish FEG. ES is acting as the weaker pair, right? You can see NQ is thinking about invalidating the bearish FEG. Thinking about it, not confirmed. A confirmed invalidation would be a candle closure. Since the current daily candle is currently being formed, I would not call that a confirmed invalidation, a potential invalidation. Right, so we need to leave these levels on the chart to understand whether they're going to invalidate the bearish FEG or not, because that would determine the bias. Right, if we get rejected by the bearish FEG, then I would have a bearish bias to make a new low of the week, the target here. Okay, so that's what we need to move forward with. An if-then statement for today's bias. If the daily bearish FEG provides a rejection to price, then I would target the lows. If we invalidate the bearish FEG, right, price goes above it, then I would target the weekly open. Okay, so that's the if-then statement that we're dealing with today. Either price gets rejected by the bearish FEG or price invalidates it. If price invalidates it, I would want to use NQ because NQ looks to be the stronger pair. If we're searching for the lows, then I would want to use ES because ES looks to be the weaker pair. Okay, so that's what we'll be looking for to execute today. We have an if-then statement. Hourly swing highs being swept inside of an hourly bearish FEG. We need to keep our eyes on this gray box as our if-then statement to move forward. Take a look at YM. Everybody's saying SMT against YM. Very good job. Very good job to the individuals that pointed out the SMT on YM. YM failed to sweep the previous day high, while ES and NQ did sweep the previous day high. That is bearish SMT against YM. Very good job to the individuals that pointed out the bearish SMT. YM would be the weaker pair. Right? YM created the failure swing. Since YM did not sweep the previous day high, YM would be the weaker pair. How do you know which one the weaker pair is for SMT? Since we're looking at bearish SMT, I'm going to do a bearish example. You need two correlated pairs, right? ES is correlated to YM. YM should be moving the same at the same time, right? Here's ES. You can see that ES took out the high. Right here. Here's NQ. Excuse me. Here is YM. YM failed to take out the high. This is weakness right here. The fact that it was not able to take out the high. YM is the weaker pair. The failure swing is how you determine that it is the weaker pair. Okay. So higher time frame SMT. I would look for YM to move to here. This will be the target for YM today. Maybe, excuse me, I lost my spot. Okay. Even though there is not a minus, even though there's not a bearish FEG on ES, you would still execute it rather than NQ. If we're looking at shorts, I would want to execute YM because YM's the weaker pair, says the SMT. Nonetheless, it would still be okay to execute ES because it still took out these highs, right? So as a bearish point of interest for short positions, you use swing highs or bearish FEGs, right? I understand that there's no bearish FEG here to use, but you have multiple swing highs here to use as a higher time frame point of interest. Right, and now we're getting our lower prices. So very good bias in terms of this morning. We pointed to the bearish FEG on the daily chart, and it was a very simple if-then statement. If price gets rejected by the bearish FEG, we would look for lower prices. And you're getting that here. Maybe SMT on the 5-minute NQ and ES. Yes, I agree with that statement, right? ES failed to take out this high here. While NQ did take out this high here, right? Bearish SMT. I agree with that statement. Is that a 1-minute unicorn on NQ? Take a look. I do agree with that statement, right? If you're looking at this right here, we swept the high. That's a stop hunt. You need a lowest down close candle before the leg up that took liquidity. Breaker. You need a FEG to be aligned with it to make it a unicorn. I agree with that statement. Very good job pointing out the 1-minute on NQ. Now you have to ask yourself, we just pointed out the SMT, right? So which pair would you want to trade when there's SMT on the chart? The stronger or the weaker pair? The weaker pair, right? So I don't want to execute this. This is not something that I would execute because we just pointed to the SMT, right? NQ's the stronger pair. NQ was capable of taking out this high when ES could not. When you're looking for shorts, you want to short the weaker pair. So I wouldn't be interested in that NQ chart. I also don't care for the 1 minute chart. I highly suggest getting off the 1 minute chart. We could watch it nonetheless, since somebody pointed it out. This right here. Right, it already provided an entry. 1, 2, these candles here. But I'm sitting here telling you that this is not a position that I would execute, because when shorting, you want to be shorting the weaker pair. But let's see what happens. What time for the opening time for oil? 9 a.m. Is 8 to 10 the New York kill zone? After time zone change, I got confused. Everybody's charts should be in New York time. Set your charts to New York time. Okay. New York Open is still 9:30 for indices. 9:30. New York time. Make sure your charts are set to New York time. If your charts are set to New York time, then you'll see that the kill zone times have not changed. I understand that if you're in a different country, daylight savings changes the time for you, but I'm referring to the chart. And that's why I'm saying your chart has to be set to New York time. There is no point of interest. Yeah, I agree with that. I've already provided my logic. I'm not trading this either way. Right? There's no swing high in here. There's no bearish FEG. I've already stated why I'm not touching this. It doesn't matter if this plays out. It doesn't matter if it hits the stop loss. I've already provided my logic to why I'm not touching this. We're simply watching it because one of the members pointed it out. How about executing the 10-minute chart? I use the daily chart for my bias. I use the hourly chart for my higher time frame points of interest. Then I use the 5-minute chart for my executions. If you would like to use different charts, then be my guest. I don't plan on changing my model. Those are the charts that I use. Would you look for an entry on the 5-minute unicorn made at 3 a.m.? No. When I look for my model, I look for it to be confirmed during the session that I'm trading. I don't use prior information. So congratulations to the individual that pointed out the unicorn, right? You're now hitting the target. So let me go back to see who it was. VVT. Amazing job. Congratulations to VVT for pointing out the bearish unicorn on the 1 minute chart on NQ. There you go. So for all the individuals that are sitting here saying, you know, no higher time frame point of interest, draw on liquidity is incorrect, you know, all the justifications to your actions, you have to realize that probabilities are probabilities. Price can and will do whatever it wants whenever it wants to. So for anybody saying the draw on liquidity is not correct, for anybody saying there's no higher time frame point of interest, the position played out correctly. So whoever took the position just obtained plus 2R. So you have to realize that there's a random distribution of probabilities. There is no guarantee to anything. You have to realize that we are dealing with probabilities, not certainties. It doesn't matter what model you use. Price can and will do whatever it wants whenever it wants to. Let me find my spot in chat again. I lost the location. Hey, good morning, Jorit. How are you doing today? On the 1M, personally, I don't think it's a unicorn. This is a unicorn. You have a swing high, you have a swing low, you have a new high, then a new low. Breaker blocks the lowest down close candle before the leg up that took liquidity. You have to have an FVG aligned with it. Here's the bearish FVG here. This is, in fact, a 1 minute bearish unicorn. It did provide plus 2R. So very good job to anybody that took this position. No, there was no higher time frame point of interest. I already stated that. Where is Forex Factory for oil? The energy calendar. Perfect. Thank you, Luke. I appreciate that. Yep, check the energy calendar for oil. You'll see that every Wednesday at 10:30, there's inventories. That's the high impact news driver for oil. Hi, Ash. Question. Do you want all PD arrays to be inside kill zone, or breaker can be before the kill zone? No, once again, I trade the unicorn model. I want my model to confirm during the session I'm trading. All right, so stop hunt, displacement through the breaker, FVG aligned with the breaker. Those are the criteria that create a unicorn. Once you have all three of those criteria confirmed, you have a unicorn. I want that confirmation to occur during the session that I'm trading. Does a unicorn work for EU and GU? Yes, the unicorn works for Asia session, London session, New York session. It works for currencies, commodities, indices, crypto. Now that the position has completed its objective, right, the plus 2R, taking it off the screen because we would no longer consider it. So very good job for the individuals that did take the winning trade. Now that it's completed its objective, I would no longer consider it. Let's check YM to see if it's heading to the lows. Hasn't hit target yet, but we're getting close. Do I trade live every day? 3 to 4 times a week. One time on YouTube, and then the rest of the times are in the premium group. Can the higher time frame POI be an order block? If you'd like it to be, that's completely fine. I personally don't use them. I use swing highs, swing lows, and FVGs as my higher time frame points of interest. Give me 2 seconds. I'm going to take another sip of water. All right. Thank you very much. Didn't the hourly IRL count as POI? The hourly chart is the higher time frame chart for the 5-minute chart. I don't mix the time frame alignments. So the position that we were looking at on NQ was a 1-minute trade. The higher time frame point of interest would come from the 15-minute chart for that. So there's 2 time frame alignments. It's the daily to the hourly to the 5-minute. That's the first one. The second one is the 4-hour to the 15-minute to the 1-minute. Gonna write them out real quick. All right, here you go. There are 2 different time frame alignments. Choose one of them and stick to it. Okay? Either use the daily to the hourly to the 5-minute. This is how we would use it. The daily would be the bias. The hourly would be the higher time frame points of interest. The 5-minute would be the entry function. This is the one that I use. The majority of my trades occur on the 5-minute chart. That's why I use that time frame alignment. You can use this time frame alignment if you prefer to execute on the 1-minute chart. I don't prefer to execute on the 1-minute chart. The majority of my losses occur on the 1-minute chart. That's the reason why I'm not using the 1-minute chart anymore. You can if you want to. That's where you become an independent thinker and you look at your own results to determine that. Right, so since we were just looking at a 1 minute trade, you would use a 15-minute higher time frame point of interest. Since bias is very important in this model, what if one determines bias incorrect most of the time, executes uni based on that, most of his trades would be a losing one? How would you suggest to overcome this? Time is the most important element, first of all. Bias or draw on liquidity is the second most important element. If you're having trouble with bias, then don't use it. Right? This is where you become an independent thinker and you look at your results. You understand what you are best at executing. There are many people that trade the unicorn model that don't use a bias. They trade the unicorn model based on swing points. That's completely fine too. Right? The important part here is to become an independent thinker. You do that by executing, documenting, and journaling all of your executions so you have data to review. Once you have enough data to prove what you are good and bad at, that's when you make decisions and become an independent thinker. Are you better with using a bias? Or are you better at trading swing points? I don't think objective was hit. Data lows remain intact. Take a look. I disagree with that statement. Here's your data low right here. NQ took it out. Right here. So the data low was in fact taken out. The objective was completed. Yes. Data low. Taken out. I took it, but in the mid of the trade, I closed it because there was no higher time frame point of interest. That sounds like an impulsive decision. Your risk should be accepted before the risk is taken. You should know how to execute before the risk is taken, right? When you enter a trade, are you a fixed 1 to 2R execution? Or are you a bring your stop loss to break even type of execution? If you're changing your decisions based on price fluctuations, then you are basing your decisions emotionally. You saying that there was no higher time frame point of interest, so you closed the position. Why'd you take the position in the first place then? Risk is to be accepted before any risk is taken. You should understand how to execute your position before any risk is taken. Why aren't I interested in taking any shorts on ES? Because the model is not present, right? So this is what a short looks like. Swing high, swing low, new high, new low. Breaker block is the lowest down close candle before the leg up that took liquidity. And I need to have an FVG aligned with it. This is the model that I trade, the unicorn model. Okay, so take this. And now look at today's session. We did not sweep the high. We did not sweep the high. We did not sweep the high. So there is no possible unicorn on the screen. Since there is no entry function shown, I would not be interested in taking a short. I don't execute other models. I execute the unicorn model. If the model is not on the screen, I don't trade. I really don't like CL. What do you think about it? There's nothing wrong with CL. You need to understand that inventories are coming up in about 15 minutes. What is this? 18 minutes? So inventories is the high impact news for oil. It happens every Wednesday at 10:30. I suggest that you wait for the high impact news to occur, then execute. So there's nothing to look at yet because 10:30 hasn't occurred yet. After the high impact news, then I would look for something. Do I only trade the unicorn model? That is correct. I only trade the unicorn model. Is a hour one POI 100% required to take a trade? I highly suggest that you trade within your session, aligned with your bias, from a higher time frame point of interest. Right? So if you have a bearish bias, look for shorts. Execute shorts during New York AM session. When executing shorts, execute them from hourly bearish FEGs or hourly swing highs. Do me a favor, hit the like button. If you'd like to participate with us here in chat, sub to the channel. The chat is sub only. Turn the notifications on. That way you can see when we upload any new educational content. That way you can see when we go live again. We've been going live every single week. We are relentlessly working and learning every single week. For any of the individuals that show up with us, we're gladly willing to help with any part of the business. The entire model is shown on the YouTube. You can go to the Unicorn Model playlist, learn the model, then go to the live stream archive. Learn the model, then watch us execute the model in real time. There's multiple years worth of content there where you can see us executing the same model. You can see the logic. You can see all of the decision making in real time. I've already explained multiple times. If you want to see the days that I do not trade, just go look at the pinned messages in the general chat of the Discord. Once again, I've already explained during the top-down analysis why I will not be trading today. Go ahead and just rewind the video. Watch the top-down analysis. It explains everything in detail. Once we get a result to our information, we'll begin to wrap up the live stream. We were looking for lower prices today. We'll go through the information once again. Go ahead and fact check me. Just rewind the live stream. You'll see the same information. We pointed to a bearish FVG on the daily chart. And we provided one if-then statement. If price gets rejected by the bearish FVG on the daily chart, we would look for lower prices. Right? The analysis is still shown here. I left it on the screen for everyone. Once we provided that bias, we then saw bearish SMT against YM. You can see that ES took out the previous day high. You can see that YM did not take out the previous day high. This is what bearish SMT is. Due to the daily bearish FVG, due to the daily bearish SMT, we were looking for lower prices. Hence the line here that says target. We got the lower prices so far, came very close to the target. We had a beautiful move lower during New York AM session. During that move lower, we watched a bearish short position on NQ, right? Bearish bias equals bearish entry function. We pointed to the bearish unicorn here. Provided multiple entries and went to plus 2R. When executing a short position, you enter at the beginning of the breaker block, stop loss at the high, and you aim for 2R. Notice how we created a game plan, then executed the game plan. We understood time by starting on the economic calendar. We looked at the 8:30 red folder and New York Open, the two important times for today. Then we moved over to the daily chart and obtained a bias. We saw the bearish FVG on the daily chart, providing a bearish bias. Then we found a confluence to that idea. Bearish SMT. The bearish SMT between YM and ES, or YM and NQ, confirmed the idea of lower prices. Now that we had an entire game plan built, that's when you look for an entry function. Bearish entry function occurred. Bearish entry was given. It ran to plus 2R. So, phenomenal job today. Creating a game plan, executing the game plan. Now, more importantly, once you've completed your game plan, It's time to move back to the sidelines. Document everything, journal it. Then go work on your fitness, go work on your health. It's never acceptable to overtrade. Create justifications to your actions. Complete the justifications to your actions. Document it. Journal it. Then have the mental and emotional intelligence to be done for the day. Go work on health. Go to the gym. And that's the point that we're at now. We've gotten a result to our information. Right? We came in, we created a game plan. We executed the game plan. Now that we got a result to our information, we're going to begin to wrap up the live stream. So, phenomenal job today. Love to see the model play out once again. I greatly appreciate everybody that continues to keep showing up. All the questions and comments are providing so much value for everybody to continue to keep working and learning every single week. So thank you to you all for participating today. I really appreciate your time. If you want to continue the conversation, let's move it over to the general chat of the Discord, as I'm going to now wrap up the live stream and head to the gym. I hope everybody has a great day. Thank you once again. I will see you all in the Discord. Have a nice day, everyone.